العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Hi, my name's Usman Abdullah. My Kiwi name is Neville McPherson, and I was brought up over in the Wairarapa on a farm. It was a real cultural desert. There were plenty of churches, but they didn't really mean anything to us. And there wasn't a lot to do outside our farming background and sports. My parents, my mother was Jewish and my father was Presbyterian, but they more or less left it up to us children, 5 of us, to find our own way religiously. So I went to Sunday school for a couple of years and then later on to Bible class for a couple of years. Didn't really mean a lot, I just sort of went through the motions. My mother's family all ostracised her when she married outside the Jewish faith, so she couldn't really be bothered with having anything to do with the Jewish faith anymore, and so she became Christian. So I guess that had a big influence on me, while it made me also not want to have anything to do with the Jewish faith. But being Christian, I went through the motions, but it didn't really mean anything to me. I went along and learned these Sunday school stories, but I couldn't really apply them to my life as it was then. When I was living in Indonesia, most of the people were Muslim, and so I got to know about the faith, and it really influenced me, the way that people were living. They didn't have much money, but their values, their way of life, how strong they were in their faith, from little children right through to old people, really got to me, and I thought I'd like to be part of this. So the sound of the Hasan 5 times a day went through my head all the time, and in the end I thought, yeah, I better do it. When I decided to revert, I'd been going to a cafe where a young family was that a young family was running, and I really got influenced by them, and I asked one time if I could pray with the father, with the man of the household, and so I did, and things just seemed to be right, and so I just kept praying, and then I went along to the local mosque and started praying, and the old people started to say, who's this guy, and challenged me, and so I said, I want to become Muslim, and so they took me through the steps, and I became Muslim. I was taken aside by one of the men, and he took me through the steps of wudu, and then he took me and introduced me to a man from the Department of Religious Affairs, and he took me through the steps of prayer, and so it was really quite a long indoctrination that I had. Then I came back to New Zealand. I'm much more at peace with myself. I guess I'd been searching for years for something to anchor my life to. I'd been wandering in a religious desert, and at last I'd found something. It's 5 years since I embraced Islam, and over that time there have been times when I've been really active as a Muslim, and there have been times when I haven't been coming along to the mosque that much, And it's the times when I haven't been coming along that I've been feeling I've been floundering a bit. But the times when I've been coming regularly, particularly around Ramadan, that's been really magic. Yeah, I've really increased my knowledge and my beliefs over Ramadan in particular. The reaction from my friends and family was varied. My family were, my mother was good, and she was the one person that I was really wanting to feel okay about it. My brothers and sisters were quite aghast, and it took them quite a while to just come to terms with the fact that he was someone who was going right against everything that they were doing. They were doing a variety of, their religious beliefs were quite varied, but nothing as radical as stepping away from Christianity. And really I thought, well, if they can't accept me how I am, well, that's their problem, not mine. My sister's a retired vicar, and she said, oh, what have I thought about eternal life and forgiveness of sin? And so I was able to tell her that they're both quite important parts of the Muslim faith. The Muslim faith is that believes that when you die, you're going to be, all your good deeds are going to be looked at, and your bad deeds, and weighed up. And if your bad deeds outweigh your good deeds, then you'll go to hell, and you may be there for some time until your bad deeds have been cleansed, and then you can get to heaven. But if your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, then you'll go to heaven. I guess for me the biggest thing that I've gained since I've become Muslim is being part of an international brotherhood. It's really great being able to relate to people from all over the world in a social and religious way. Wherever you go, not just in New Zealand but anywhere in the world, you go into a mosque and immediately you're part of this brotherhood. It's really humbling feeling. The knowledge of a religion which hasn't changed for 1430 years. It's a story which has brought peace and harmony all around the world, really. Sure, there's extremists which are giving it a bad name at times, but the ordinary, everyday person is at peace with himself and with his fellow men. There have been very few times when there's been any conflict between being a Kiwi and being a Muslim. Occasionally I'll go past a crowd of people outside a pub and they'll be fairly under the influence of what they've been drinking, and they sort of look at me if I'm wearing my Arab gears, and some of them will sneer or sort of ask me why I'm dressed like that, and I'll just say it's part of who I am or something like this. But the ordinary everyday person, they just get on with their life and expect people to get on with their life, and that's how it's been. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi